I don't know how many of you have heard, but Trump just told the Treasury to quit making new pennies. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, honestly, it probably doesn't mean much. And Trump says a lot of things, so who knows what exactly is going to happen. But assuming the Treasury does stop making pennies, okay, but there's not going to be an instant change because there's so many pennies in circulation. But if the Treasury truly does quit making pennies, then eventually everything's just going to be denominated in nickels. Okay, so we're probably going to see a little bit of inflation out of this. It'll barely be noticeable. Okay, so a lot of sales taxes are denominated in pennies, so 7 cents sales tax. Okay, that's probably going to get rounded up to 10 cents. I can't imagine any local or state government rounding their sales tax down to 5 cents from 7. So yeah, it's probably going to go up to 10 cents. And everything will be in 5-cent increments. So instead of something being 63 cents, it'll be 65 cents or 60 cents or 75. That's about it. And then slowly over time, pennies will just disappear. We'll still be able to spend the pennies we have. 5 of them are still going to equal a nickel. But again, over time, they'll just go away. All right, so the thing here, though, is why are they going away? And it's because of inflation. That's why pennies are worth almost nothing now. The reason the Treasury has wanted to get rid or stop making pennies for a really long time now is because it costs them more to make a penny than the penny's worth. All right, and this is where understanding money really comes in handy. Okay, at one time, money actually had value. Okay, so here's a penny that I found metal detecting years ago. This penny was made in 1872. Copper. Okay, well in 1982 they quit making pennies out of copper. If you have a penny right now from 1990, 2000, it's not copper. It's zinc. Junk metal. It's cheaper than copper. That's why they went to it, because it's cheaper. And it has a very, very, very thin coating of copper on it. That was a lie is what that was. It was to make you think it was still copper, which is a metal that actually has use and has value. Okay, well, it's not even that no more. And this penny right here, okay, 1872, if we adjust for inflation, when this penny was lost, assuming it was lost in 1872, there's no telling when whoever dropped this, but if in 1872, this was the equivalent of about $20 today. Okay, that's how much inflation has changed things. All right, and house prices. Okay, that's a hot topic with houses costing so much now. In most instances, it isn't that the houses actually cost more, it's our money is worth less. Okay, how about I got a $100 bill here. Okay, what's this worth? $100? No, this is worth nothing. This is junk. This is a piece of paper with ink printed on it. That's it. Toilet paper is worth more than this is. Toilet paper has more uses, or it's more useful. How about that? This is useless. But I can take this and I can give it to somebody else and they'll give me stuff for this. Okay, and that's a big misconception on money. So many of us say we want money, and we do not want money. All right, first of all, if you say you want money or you love money, why do you spend it so quickly? Why does it burn a hole in your pocket like it does? If you loved money, you wouldn't try to get rid of it as fast as you can and then be broke all the time. Okay, what we love is the stuff we get with this. Okay, so it's the actual, real, physical things that we value, not this. And copper. We value electricity in our homes. Copper's good for that. We value our computers and our smartphones and electric cars and all that good stuff. Electricity. Copper's really good for this type of stuff. That's why there's a lot of copper in this type of stuff. It's a great conductor. It actually has a real use and makes our world better. This doesn't. Okay, and that's why they used to make money out of real metals. Those metals were durable, that would last. Hence why that we actually have a penny here that's over 100 years old, because it's made out of a real metal. Now that junk metal stuff they make now that they call pennies, leave one of those in the ground for a few years, and if you come back, that copper coating on the outside, it just turns into little flakes and just literally just blows away like dust, and then you just have your little zinc core. Okay, so money itself is useless. What's important is the stuff we can buy with it. All right, but the thing is, when they print too much money, they reduce what we can buy with it. They're stealing the purchasing power of the money from us. All right, and it's the government that's printing the money. Think of it as the government as professional counterfeiters, that they can legally counterfeit money. That's what it amounts to. All right, and back there in the shutdowns and all that, when the government was handing out stimulus checks, okay, we all wondered, okay, if there's poverty in the world and there's people that don't have enough money, why can't the government just hand out money to everybody and fix that? We've all wondered that when we were growing up. Well, those stimulus checks showed us why. The government just started handing them out to everybody. Everybody's got a lot of money all of a sudden, and the price of everything just went up. Your purchasing power didn't change. Okay, now instead of having $50, now you got $100, but the price of everything just went up by $50. So at the end of the day, you're able to buy exactly what you were able to buy before the government just started handing out money. All right. Now the inflation part itself is theft. Okay, so if you've saved money, you worked hard and you saved some money. All right, well, when the government goes and hands out all that money, it makes what you've saved worth less. They're literally robbing the value of the money you have saved. All right, now, there's a lot of legitimate reasons why the government would want inflation. All right, for one, it encourages spending instead of saving. Okay, well, that's a short-term help. It's not a long-term anything. It's a long-term recipe for disaster is what that is. All right, but, and here's something that's just way past my pay grade that honestly I can't tell you. But if there was a limited supply of money, and this is why I don't think the gold standard works, is because there's a fairly limited supply of gold. Or at least it's limited by what they can dig out of the ground each year. Okay, if we were on a gold standard, there's a fixed amount of gold or money. Eventually somebody's going to end up with all of it. Just like a monopoly. At the end of the game, somebody's got all of the money and all of the property and they win. All right, well, what do you do then? I think the government printing out money is a way to help combat that. Okay, so that was the quick, simple version of money and inflation, and forgetting the moral implications of all of this. And it is very immoral. Inflation hurts the poorest among us the most. All right. But the thing is, inflation exists. It has always existed. Now, what do we do about it going forward? And I've said many times that's my big fear going forward is inflation. We've got $35 trillion in debt. That's generally how governments pay off large debts like that, is they just inflate the debt away, or as much of it as they can. And think about it. If you're the person that prints the money, you control its value. You go out and you borrow $100 in 2000. Okay, you're paying interest on it. But you know you can just print more money and it's going to be worth a lot less in the future. So in the future, when you have to pay back that $100 that you borrowed, all right, you give somebody $100 to pay it back and plus the interest. Except for in the future, it's not worth $100 anymore. It's worth a lot less than that because you created inflation. So it's the equivalent of you borrowing $100 today and then in the future paying the lender back $50 or $20 or $10. Okay, so what do we do as individuals? How do we best protect ourselves against inflation and the likely inflation that we're going to have going forward? Okay, well, this stuff I've said many times here before. First of all, we do everything we can to control our expenses so that we don't have to go spend money. Okay, if you can grow some food, well, they can raise the price of food at the grocery store. You're growing your own. Does it really matter? You don't have to go pay, you don't have to go buy things when you're self-sufficient. If you're not self-sufficient, you have to go buy those things. Okay, getting a house that's paid for, or something, a trailer, mobile home, camp, or something. Okay, well, when those rent prices go up in the future because of inflation, and they are, you don't have to go pay that outrageous rent for whatever. Okay, so buy real things. That's the other thing. This chisel, okay, this is made out of steel. Some really good steel. This is real. Okay, this isn't like that paper money that's useless. Copper wiring, it's real. It has a use. This has a use. Buy things that have a use. They're going to hold their value, or they're going to be valuable to you. Now, as to whether or not anybody in the future, in 10 years from now or 20 years from now, even knows how to use something like this. Okay, well, and if they don't know how to use something like this, well, then they're just at the mercy of someone that does. They're going to have to buy furniture. They're going to have to buy stuff. They're going to have repairs. Okay. So go learn some skills that are useful. Okay, if you're a plumber, you can raise your prices with inflation. If you're an electrician, carpentry's tough with all of the illegals in the country, but Trump's cutting down on that. I don't know how far he's going to go on deporting, but the cost of labor is going to go up if they get rid of the illegals. All right, now that's a good thing for the economy. That means just normal, average people can go out there. They're not competing with how many ever millions of illegals in the country that are working for a lot less. All right, so they can charge a living wage and actually be able to live off the money. All right, that means they'll have money that they can go spend into the economy. All right, so overall it's going to be a net benefit, but it is going to make things costful. If you've got tools and you've got skills, though, you can really reduce those costs, just like being able to grow that garden. Okay, and then the other thing, buy assets, rental property, gold. Now, who knows what the value of any of this is going to do? I mean, this is all a guessing game when we're talking about assets as far as you think this is going to keep up with inflation in the future, or it's going to be worth even more. Who knows? All right, economy crashes, we get deflation. All right, but the tools are always going to have some value for you, and the skills will always have value for you. Having tools and skills will always allow you to be able to, first of all, not need to go pay somebody else to do things for you, but second of all, allow you to go out and earn money for things that people are going to have done. Necessities. Okay, and as far as anything else on inflation, at one time I was all about saving money. All right, I wanted money in the bank, and I still want some in the bank for an emergency fund. All right, but don't make that a long-term strategy, putting money in the bank, because the inflation's going to destroy your savings, especially if it gets bad. Did I mention that was really good steel? Oh, this chisel is sharp. Okay, I really hope that helps some of you out on inflation and understanding money. I mean, money is such an important part of our lives, and so few of us even understand it. Think of how many people have died in pursuit of money, trying to steal money, trying to protect money and keep other people from stealing it. And at the end of the day, honestly, money itself is just absolutely worthless. What's important is all of the stuff. What gives money its value is all of the amazing things that people make. All right, that's what makes our economy. That's the stuff we want to buy. All right, so essentially it's labor, both mental and physical. Okay, that's what's valuable. All right, God bless and have a great evening.